Everybody, it's Webster out here, the man, the voice of fragrance. We're here with Mr. Rob Kessler from goTIELESS, and he has a great variety of male style products, which I've actually purchased now that I've discovered them. And one of the things that I really saw, and as many of you stylists guys know, it's these collars are a pain at times. There are a lot of times where we go with magnetic collar stays, but sometimes you just want your collar just to be nice and tight when you don't have a tie on. And this is where goTIELESS comes into play. And I was really fascinated by the dress shirt or the collared shirt that they have, the $1 Million collar, where if you go without a tie, you look just as crisp and as clean as you would. So Rob, tell us about that. Tell us about where all of this came from, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea came from my wedding. If you looked over my shoulder here, before I could even say I do, we got married on the beach in Jamaica, toes in the sand, super chill. I hate wearing ties. And my shirt was just collapsed. It looked terrible. And what turns out, I came home from the wedding, did a bunch of research. There is so much weight in the collar itself. There's just so much material up there that it collapses the placket of the shirt. And the placket is that part just below with the buttons and the holes. And so I took the idea of a collar stay, I made it 9 inches long, and I shoved it down the front of the shirt. And so my product, $1 Million collar, is actually what I would call a placket stay. So it goes down the front and gives some weight and some structure to that front of the shirt so that the collar doesn't collapse the placket. So you can wear a dress shirt without a tie all day long. It'll look great. When you starch a shirt, a couple hours later, it's
Right.
sagging and you're adjusting your collar all day long, trying to get that placket to look right. $1 Million collar does that all day long. And so we started with that product, which can be added to any dress shirt you already own. Simply take it to a tailor or a dry cleaner that does alterations. It's a very, very simple 1-inch hem that they open, slide it in, it goes in, it lasts the life of the shirt. Or we have our own shirts now called goTIELESS, like you mentioned, $1 Million collar built in. We took that same shirt that I wore at my wedding, which is the #1 selling shirt in America. We made the fabric better, which is this buttery, soft, bamboo stretch, wrinkle resistant fabric. It's amazing. We've got a convertible cuff. You said you got all these cufflinks at home.
Right.
These shirts actually have a buttonhole in between the buttons.
Okay.
So you could wear cufflinks or not. They're from extra small to 3XL in white, black, and light blue, in slim and standard. I mean, if you can't find a shirt that fits you, you got a different body style, we'll do our best to get a shirt that does fit you. But we've got great colors, great sizes, and that's pretty much the long and short of it.
Okay. One of the things I noticed as well, I think one of the hardest things we deal with, especially men's clothing, can be a bit weird sometimes. I think women have a lot of times a better options from low end to high end. But with men's clothing, is a lot of times if you really want to look good, you've really got to spend. I really admired the reasonable price point for the ultimate dress shirt at only $69.99. I thought that was just, especially for what you're getting, even the materials you just listed, that's a really good price point for a very unique item compared to, say, going to and say an Express and H&M or someplace like that. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I want to sell as many dress shirts as possible, and I want to get these on as many people as possible. I mean, if I could sell them for $30, I would. We've got to make a profit at some point. I mean, our first round of shirts we made in Los Angeles, they cost us $45 a piece just to make them, and the quality wasn't even that great. So we're getting the manufacturing figured out. These are, like, I would say, as good of any shirt that's out there. And at $70, and actually it's, if you buy two, they're 110, so they're $55 a piece, which is even better. But you see all these new dress shirt companies come out and they're, 100, 125, $150 shirts. And that's just such a limited number of people that can afford that kind of thing. The great thing is I know when you get this shirt for $70 or two for 110, that they're going to be your go-to favorite shirts and you'll be back for more. So we're just doing everything we can to get people to try it out because we know it's such a game changer. There's nothing else like it on the market.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the fact that it's bamboo, and just from having that sort of dress shirts with t-shirts that are bamboo, a lot of those shirts have like 2 or 3, and I've had most of them for at least 20 years, and these are t-shirts we're talking about, and they hold up so well through multiple wears and washes. And obviously probably doing a little bit better care than just throw this in a washing machine most of the time. But it's such a high quality material as well. And I can't harp enough on like the quality versus the cost and your return per wear that an individual will get this as well. Let me ask you though, we talked about the accessories. Where did, especially like the flex cuff, where did the idea for that come from?
So that was a kid that I met. He's in Chicago. He came up with the idea. We actually bought that company a few months ago. I like I like to roll my cuffs. I don't really like, and there were so many shirts for so many years that had these really cool contrasts, and
Right.
even our first rounds of shirts had contrast, and it's like, well, you roll it once and it's still too long, but if you roll it twice, then you miss the contrast. So he came up with this idea: it's basically a button and a hole and a piece of elastic, and you connect it to the sleeve of your shirt, and then it helps keep that sleeve right there with one fold right below your elbow. So we just loved it. We thought it was a great product. I helped him with manufacturing options. He really couldn't get the price point to where he needed it. He was at like $16, $17 a pair, which is crazy, I think, for an accessory. So we looked at our manufacturing people, got it dialed in, and now you can buy them for $9.99 a set. So we've got a bunch of really cool colors. Some we're starting to do colors that are, he was trying to match the shirt, so it was kind of subtle.
Right.
I'm thinking, man, match it to your belt and your shoes, and just have this extra accessory that it's just a little touch, and all of a sudden you see it, and people are like, "Well, how's your shirt staying like that?" And you see that little elastic band that kind of matches everything else. So we've got khaki, brown, black, navy, white, light gray, light blue. So really great selection of colors, and we'll do more as more and more people pick them up. But at $9.99, it's a really cool accessory. You're gonna love it.
That is really good. Are there any new products that on the horizon from you guys?
Well, the shirts just came out, so we only had them for 90 days. And we had to reorder because we were running out of sizes. People are just like loving them. So we've got more inventory of the shirts coming in. We're really focused on that. We've spent the last 6 years selling $1 million collar direct to consumer, and I will be the first to admit that process sucks, because I mail you, 5 or 10 sets of $1 million collar. You now have to take that package and go find somebody to sew these into your shirt if you don't know how to sew. So that extra step has made it difficult, but we still managed to sell 500,000 units to people in 130 countries. And so the people that get it love it. I mean, most of our customers have 13 or 14 sets. That's our average. So, it's one of those products that once you get it in once, you see that it's worth it. So we focused on that for a while. That's running really well. Now it's time to move some shirts. So my goal is, I always do small goals. So my goal is 1,000 shirts. And so first it's, let's sell the first 1,000. Then I want to do 1,000 in a month, and 1,000 in a week, and 1,000 in a day. I mean, 1,000 shirts a day at $70. You do the math. We got a pretty good company at that point.
It's interesting. I just realized I think I came across the individual $1 million collar a couple of years ago now that I think about it, as I started all of this. And I didn't even put two and two together until just now. I was like, oh, that's right. I do remember. So I'll say this. I'm really impressed, and I congratulate you on the success and the growth over the past few years. I mean, this is really awesome and amazing.
Yeah, you know what? It's when you're passionate about what you're doing, it's easier to keep going. I mean, if you're just chasing the dollar, it's easy to say, well, that's not working and I'm not making any money, I'll go find something else. But I've known for a long time. I mean, I never thought I was going to change the dress shirt industry. Now I am dead set on changing the dress shirt industry. And so the reason we're making shirts is because we've tried licensing this, and these big brands are like, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if my customer cares. I'm like, we got 500,000 units and a proven product. I know that they care.
Right.
They still won't make that switch. So I said, fine, I'll make a dress shirt. I'll put it into a manufacturer that's going to have to pay attention to me at some point. And so we're building a brand around the technology that I believe and have committed my whole life to. So, it's going really well. We're really excited, and just nothing but good things to come, hopefully.
Awesome. I really enjoyed that. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Because we pretty much ran through all the products here. I'm sorry, you 6 years. So let me ask you a question. What were some of the major bumps that you experienced as you grew your company?
Well, I mean, the biggest one is the word no, which I've heard 10,000 times. But, I always look at products. I've grown 4 companies from nothing to $1 million in revenue, and started from absolutely zero, totally bootstrapped. goTIELESS would be my 5th. And I always look at it from the customer's perspective. How do I make it easier? How to make it a good buying experience? So came out with $1 Million Collar. It was originally going to be a shirt. We didn't get funded on our Kickstarter. So then we went to this aftermarket idea because everybody on Kickstarter who was willing to give us money, and we really listened to their feedback, said, why compete with all the other brands and why can't I upgrade the shirts I already own? So we made this aftermarket version. A lot of people, you know, you get these dumb comments, oh, too bad, why has it got to be sewn in? I'm not cutting my shirt open. It's like, both sides of the placket are visible. So what are you going to do? Put a clear one on? Remember girls in the 90s had those clear bra straps? They weren't clear. You knew exactly what was happening. It's just going to look terrible. It really is the easiest, simplest, least expensive way. I mean, you said before about the average cost per wear. Look, if you wear the shirt 30 or 40 times on a $2 product that costs $10 to install, it costs 30 cents every time you wear it if you average it out over the life of the shirt, because if it's done right and it's put in, it lasts forever. So you know, the product has been a challenge. I have never been able to say, here's how you sell a product that needs to be bought somewhere and taken somewhere else to use. I mean, there's just nothing like it. So we've kind of paved our own path. But you know, we did the aftermarket. I buy wholesale shirts and then install $1 Million Collar and sell Tommy Hilfiger and, you know, all these brands, Calvin Klein, all these brands that you already know. I have those shirts in stock that you can buy if you already know your size and say, well, I don't want to do that. I'll buy a shirt that's already done and try it that way. So we have that. We have a VIP mail-in service. So if you want to send me 5 to 15 shirts, we'll take your shirts in, upgrade them, and then mail them back to you. And we have that. So there's no way for somebody to say no. I mean, that's my old goal is always to say, if you won't do it this way, how about this way? If you won't do it that way, how about this way? And try to get a guy to say yes.
Choice. I like that. I really like that. Well, Rob, I want to thank you for your time. I'm impressed. I'm amazed, and I'm definitely going to buy some more in the near future. I like that VIP service. I'm like, I definitely have some shirts I can utilize that service for. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, look, and if you like wearing a tie, this shirt is great for that too. You know, you always kind of get that gap between the first and second button. With this extra rigidity in here, that gap goes away. And then, you know, if you finish the day of work and you want to go out and have a drink and take the tie off and, you know, chill out, boom, you got a great looking shirt and it'll last all night long. Right,
exactly. Now, Rob, tell everyone where they can find your products.
Best place is goTIELESS.com or $1MillionCollar.com, but goTIELESS is where the focus is. That's where the shirts are. We've got, you know, flex cuff and cuff adapters there and $1 Million Collar, so you can buy everything right at goTIELESS.com.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you for your time, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.